Do you smell that? Something spoiled. Smells like spoilers for a movie. The following podcast contains spoilers for Perfume, the story of a murderer. You have been warned.
God. That shit felt like it was in my ear canal. You were deep in there. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Gusto.
I sniffed up your energy with all of that.
Seriously. I couldn't, bring it back. I was just, it was deep in that canal.
Deep in there. How you doing?
I'm doing. Just took a fresh shower. I feel good. I feel clean.
Nice.
Needed it after that. Well, I guess before that. Before you violated my ear canals, but
I'm so sorry.
So I'm glad you got a fresh sniff. That's all I care about. How are you?
I'm doing well. What? Well, you know how we start these. What movies have you seen this week?
I've watched 2 movies, including one of them being our movie for the week. So I started off by not watching shit all week, and then about 2 days ago, I watched a movie that I was recommended to me. Steven, I'm looking at you. I know you're listening to this. Called The Guilty, with Jake Gyllenhaal, Ethan Hawke, and a bunch of other people in there. Basically, it's about a demoted police officer who is stuck on dispatch calls now, and then he gets this call in during what I assume is the California fires about a woman being abducted, not by aliens, by a man, by her
sex
husband.
trafficking. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sort of.
Ooh.
And it gets kind of wild. It gets a nice little plot twist that I was not expecting. I don't know if a lot of people were expecting it, but I thought it was a nice little twist. I thought it was a decent movie overall. Jake Gyllenhaal is pretty freaking good. Not nightmare good, not nightmare. Nightcrawler good, but pretty good regardless.
Yeah. For certain.
So there was that, and then of course we saw Belfast, and then, which you'll talk about a little bit more than me, but I think we both talked about it altogether better on a 60-second movie review.
Yes.
And then we watched Perfume. I almost forgot about Belfast. So 3 movies. 3 movies!
I was about to say, when you started talking about The Guilty, I was like, you forgot about one, but okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not too shabby. I have only seen 4 movies this week, 2 of which were rewatches. I went to the theater and rewatched Last Night in Soho, because it's great, and I wanted to rewatch it without someone being annoying.
Sorry.
And I got that experience. It was wonderful. I loved it. Loved it again. It's still a fantastic movie. Highly suggest people check that out. And check out our review of it on the YouTubes. Then I rewatched 9 Days, which is... I talked about it a few months ago. I saw it back in August in theaters. Got it on Blu-ray now.
All right.
Yeah, still fantastic, still great, still wonderful, still got zazzy beats in it. Highly suggest people check that one out as well. Then we watched Belfast. We have a 60-second review of it on the YouTubes. Had people say that they love our review and that they agree with everything we said, and I'm like, did you really watch our review? Mm-hmm. Or did you watch it multiple times to try to pinpoint what each of us was saying?
You kind of have to.
Yeah, we won't say more than that. But yeah, check out Belfast as well as our review. And then I watched Perfume, the story of a murderer, which we'll get into in a minute. But do you have any news?
I have a little snippet of news that I thought would be interesting, considering we just kind of watched this recently. So, Pumpkinhead remake script reportedly complete, and production is moving forward. So I thought there was a little nice snippet. I don't know, obviously, how it's going to be or whatnot. Apparently, a Saw producer is on it. It was announced that Saw producer Peter Block was spearheading a Pumpkinhead reboot with S. Darko writer. Nate Atkins. So maybe it seems they have finished it and seems they're moving forward. Yeah, I thought bringing this up would be nice since we just watched it like a month or two ago.
Yeah,
literally a month ago actually.
Month and a half.
Yeah,
it's the first week of our spooktacular.
So that could be interesting to maybe down the line watch at some point. Maybe even review and do on our actual YouTubes.
Absolutely.
So heck yeah! Now when that's coming out, God, I didn't read that far ahead. Who knows? It seems that it's too early to predict a release date. So there we go.
Yeah.
So in the future, let's keep an eye out for that shit.
Yes, let's. Well, yeah, if that's all the news you got, I got absolutely nothing. Except for all these people who are leaking Spider-Man shit. Enjoy
Bastards.
being blacklisted. Yeah, enjoy being blacklisted because you're never going to work in this town again. And by this town, I mean Hollywood.
In this whole town, damn it.
Yeah. It's fucking idiots everywhere, man. But without any further ado, let's get into Perfume, the story of a murderer.
In 18th century France, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille was born with a talent that made him unique among mankind.
Stones, warm stones, water, frog.
His phenomenal sense of smell was a gift that had been given to him, and him alone.
I forget how to pronounce his last name already.
Grenouille.
Grenouille. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, born with a superior olfactory sense, creates the world's finest perfume. His work, however, takes a dark turn as he searches for the ultimate scent. Directed by Tom Tykwer. That's what I said. We said it at the same time, too, you jinxie bastard. Written by Andrew Birkin, Bird Eichinger, and Tom Tykwer. It stars Ben Winshaw, Dustin Hoffman, Alan Rickman, and a bunch of other people in there. Rachel Hurd Wood.
We should talk about.
Jinx again.
Damn,
look at that.
man.
Oh,
You owe me so many
It
sodas.
feels so good.
Yeah.
Like I said, other people's in there for sure. I had mentioned that I had seen this before, at least parts of it, absolutely. And I wanted to rewatch it because I remember liking it, but I wanted to rewatch it to see if I actually did enjoy it as much as I thought I did.
Plenty of movies like that for me as well. So
And
I completely understand.
I noticed my man here didn't watch it, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect," because I think he might enjoy it. So,
Yes.
Mike, what did you think about it?
So I want to talk about my first impressions with this movie before I watched it. I have always been aware of this movie. I worked at the movie theater from 2005 to 2012 with a little 20-month hiatus in between that. And, still kept up with movies. I still keep up with movies, but I worked when this movie was released, and I just remember what I had seen of it not being very
I could picture exactly what's gonna
not being very appealing. The poster is garbage, if you ask me. It looks like a bad romance. Even though it says a story of a murder, it just looks like one of those. In 2000, the mid early 2000s, 2005, 2006, 2007, there were a lot of movies trying to be like Basic Instinct, including a Basic Instinct sequel that came out. So I thought it was just going to be one of those movies, maybe set in the 1700s or whatever, just to break the mold a little bit. But nothing about this piqued my interest at all. So I've kind of avoided this movie. And when you said that we were going to watch it, I was like, oh, great. Okay. Maybe it won't be too bad. 2 hours and 27 minutes? Oh, Glenn, what the fuck are you doing to me?
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Because I ended up really enjoying this. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to. It's one of those movies where, you have to get into the world.
Yeah.
Because at first it's really fucking weird and overly bleak. It's kind of like a grim fairy tale in a way.
Yeah.
It really feels like something out of a fairy tale and it's based on a book, I know. So maybe that's based on fairy tales or whatever. But the way that Tom Tykwer directed it and made this film really just felt like an original grim fairy tale, not doled down for children. And I thought it was filled with symbolism that I was not expecting from it. The performances in it were great. They did a great job at, showing his motivation and showing his madness.
Yeah.
But before we got into that, with the opening of an abandoned newborn baby with people trying to kill the newborn baby multiple times.
That shit was wild.
It was wild and very hard for me to watch.
Yeah, I
for
immediately was like, oh shit, I forgot about that part.
But yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't like anything, it didn't like break me or anything, but I was just like, ugh, I am not into that kind of thing at the moment. And for that to be justified, it really has to tell a good story, and luckily it did, because it justified that unnecessary. Well, not unnecessary, because it's necessary for the story, but it could have been gratuitous in a way. Like I could have seen someone do that just for shock value and then go nowhere with it. But it really took the abandoning a child and then a bunch of kids trying to kill that newborn baby. And all that disgusting, horrid humanness. Yeah. And it did something with it that made that not okay, but tolerable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this especially that opening sequence with the baby thing and just the mother in the fish market. Like, it's already unsanitary. It's a goddamn fish market. And then bada bing, bada boom. Here's a mermaid child.
The worst part was when she kicked it. Like,
yeah,
the leaving it under the table is horrible. But it's not abuse. It's not physically abusive. That's neglectful, but it's not physically abusive. Her kicking it, I was just like, Jesus Christ, lady.
Yeah.
I want you hanged. I don't care if you thought that this baby was stillborn. I want you to die right now.
And then bada bing.
Bada bing, that's what happened. But yeah, it's just the horrible beginnings of a murderer.
I think this looked like it belonged in the times that it took place, for sure. Like, in how, like, people had their teeth not brushed and they were all yellow, and just kind of how grimy people looked.
Yeah, they had a good art department.
And it was really nice because because you had all these people surrounding our main character here, Jean-Baptiste. So when everybody was surrounding him, they were dirty as fuck. And then he finally got a whiff of somebody who actually, like, looked clean and smelled good, and you knew him automatically. He wants that scent. He needs this. He needs a whiff, So, like, it was really nice to see that, like, contrast that they constantly did, and just had, like, obviously people not brushing their teeth, hygiene, and then just one person comes around and he's like, I'm intrigued by you, and I need to capture that essence of yours. How am I gonna do it? Brutal murder, of course. And I'm gonna put you in a bottle.
Yeah.
It was like a sexy Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. I thought the cinematography in this was great. As art department, as you were saying, the separation between the working class and the higher class. Although his first victim was working class, but was still noticeably cleaner than everyone else.
And anybody he had been interacting with the whole time too.
Yeah, yeah. The opening scene, they show him in prison first, and then he is brought before the crowd and everything. But that first shot of him, where you just see, like, the reflection of light on his eyes, and then he leans forward a little bit and it highlights his nose. That was a creepy ass shot. It set the tone for the entire thing, and I love
plenty
that
of those
shot.
too.
Yeah, there's a lot of great creative choices in this that make it a really interesting film to watch. I do think going up the nose when they went from present day to flash, or present day in the story to flashback, going up the nose for that was kind of corny, but it is what it is.
Puberty.
But yeah, where can we go with this?
I think one of the toughest, it wasn't that tough as what I'm about to say. I think the biggest flaw for me with this is Dustin Hoffman being a Frenchman.
He was Italian.
An Italian.
Yeah, Giuseppe Baldini.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he fit at all. besides his mannerisms and how he physically moved around, but his tone or his language didn't really change at all.
Yeah, he just sounded like Dustin Hoffman.
He just sounded like Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman enunciating a little bit more and yelling "Basta!"
Yeah, basta.
No, I would agree. I did like his character, but yeah, I think he could have done better.
The whole
Not sure why he
interaction
didn't do it.
between the two though was great and everything.
Yeah, if he was just like an Englishman and not
Yeah.
Italian, it would have been fine, or even like an American.
I was gonna say
American
even
didn't exist back
Yeah.
then. Not in the sense
Maybe
that
an
we know it
American
is.
from the future coming back and be
American
like,
from the
I have the perfect scent. I just need your help.
I want to know how the corpses inevitably shitting themselves affected the perfume. That's what I want to know.
So we just ignored that, of course.
We just ignore. Yeah, it does require a lot of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Like, there's points where he's smelling the first girl that he accidentally kills. There's points where he's smelling her, and you're just like, how does she not feel him there? Mm-hmm. Like, he's right up on her. It's like she's the most oblivious girl in the world. So there is the suspension of disbelief for a lot of it, including, where the whole story goes with the giant orgy at the end.
Well, yeah, between that and him being able to sniff miles and miles away from
like a
where
dog.
they went. Yeah. Man's got a nose.
Yeah. The thing that I one of the other things that I really appreciated, there's a lot of themes in this, and some of them go places others don't, but I don't know if you picked up on this, literally every person that abandons him dies right after they abandon him.
Yeah.
I don't know, like his mother abandoned him, she dies. The orphanage abandons him, she dies. The tanner, he abandons him or sells him, he dies. And then the Dustin Hoffman's character, he doesn't really abandon him, but he sends him away
to get like supplies and stuff or something like that.
Sends him away to learn a technique, but also forces him to give him 100 perfume ideas, and then immediately dies after that. That was something I thought was a pretty cool, detail. Kind of made it kind of mysterious in a way. Like, does he place curses on people, or is it
death
just
follows him and he makes it happen?
Yeah, that, or it's just coincidence. It was a really cool, idea that really made you think, and I loved that it didn't really explain it. It was just like, this is something that happens.
Yeah,
it was really cool thought, and detail there. Let's see, where else can we go with this?
I mean, the biggest thing was really the ending area of where there's a giant fucking orgy when he does collect all these scents, and he has like a set of 8 little vials of like perfume that he's made from these women. Speaking of, I guess we could
13 total.
I guess we could talk about how he like gathered, the perfume.
Yeah.
And like his technique and how it grew.
I don't
and how
know
he
the science
it.
behind that, if that actually is how it works, but it makes sense to me. They don't make perfumes out of people. Like that's
I hope nobody scientifically was like, let's fuck around with that, see if it actually works.
Let's fuck around and find out.
But yeah, the whole technique is that he goes around and he smells around for the best women to obviously eventually murder. And with trial and error, he figures out the best technique of how to capture their essence, to capture their smell. And so he, like any normal human being, bonks him on the head, takes him home, And then finally he gets to the technique where he wraps them in animal fat and just this, I don't know the word for it, linen, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he marinates them, essentially.
Oh, God.
That's what he does.
I know, but I wasn't ready for it.
Or he marinates the fat with them, rather.
Yeah, and then he scrapes off the fat and then boils the fat to get the, scientific
Distilling
shit and
it,
bubbles. Yeah. And then, of course, we get that foul, beautiful smell that we love so much, or at least a lot of people loved, because he got 12 vials of it, which I don't even know actually how many women he killed to get that many vials.
I'm assuming 12.
I'm assuming 12, but I feel like there would probably be more.
If you remember with Dustin Hoffman, he was saying that you need to have 12 cents. There's 4 cents to a base or 4 cents to a cord and 3 cords in a perfume. And then the Egyptians add a 13th perfume or a 13th essence. So he made 3 cords out of 4. So he killed 12 women, and then Laura, who was the last one, was the 13th, who was, the mystery cord, as Dustin Hoffman called it, or the Egyptians called it, or whatever. I paid attention to that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was there.
So,
I was like, I just see this man scraping animal fat. I love it. I'm all there for that. Marinate.
They did a really good job at showing you how scents moved him, though, like moved him emotionally. Especially when he first sees Laura, he smells her from a mile away, as he always does. The fucking simp he is, and and he just like stops and smells her as she passes, and then follows, and he's got like tears in his eyes. So they really make you understand what scent means to him. Not that it justifies anything he does, but it shows you what his motivation is. But I ponder, or I bring up, I propose the idea that if he just told them, hey, I want to make perfumes out of you, can I cut you in on this and keep you alive? He'd be able to get those scents over and over again if he just didn't kill them and just kept them going. And it could have been a really lucrative business. That's what I'm saying.
It could have been, but he did test that with one prostitute, she was like, "You're being fucking weird."
He didn't test it. He was trying to test it.
He was trying to test it.
He was trying to not kill her, and then she refused, and that's when he killed her. Had that prostitute is just as, I'm not a victim shame, this is just a bit I want to say, but that prostitute is responsible for all those murders. If she just went along with what the
she just let
wanted,
that man shave her with animal fat, everybody would have been fine.
No, but I do see, like, it's from a business standpoint, and I know he wasn't doing it for business. He was just doing it for scent.
His nose pleasure.
His nose jacking off or whatever. If he kept him alive, he would have a constant income.
Yep.
The only one that he probably would have had to kill was probably the nun, because I'm sure the nun wouldn't be like, yeah, you can cover me in fat.
Well, this is God's will, and you cannot do that.
Yeah. The only difference is that you wouldn't wrap the head. You'd still get the essence of the rest of the body, but you wouldn't wrap the head, because that would kill them. But I just want to read one of my notes before we move on. When he's kind of stalking Laura, he crashes one of their parties, and his first on purpose victim, not the prostitute, who was on purpose, but that wasn't his initial plan. It was his plan B. So one of his party guests, who was a grown ass woman, says, "Let's go play hide and seek." And I wrote, "What in the 19th century fuck are a bunch of grown ass adults playing hide and seek?" That was Laura
who said that.
Oh, was it?
Laura was like, "Let's play hide and seek."
I thought it was one of the twins.
She was trying to avoid kissing the dude who was
That's
had a
right.
fucking
That's right. I thought it was one of the twins
that
that he ended up killing.
Yeah. Well, he did kill the twins.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought that they were the ones that said, "Let's play hide and seek."
No, she said that to get away. I was paying attention. She said that to try to get away from the boner man who was trying to marry her.
Oh, the boner man. Gotta stop the boner man.
Stop that boner man. Also, one thing I did want to mention, that Alan Rickman is in this, but he never felt like he was, you never got distracted from, oh, that's fucking Alan Rickman.
Yeah,
like
he blended in well.
He blended it very well and did great as playing Laura's father. And he even had a really nice little ending. Well, not nice, it was bad, but had a nice little...
bad for him.
Acting nice. Acting good in this at the end. It was pretty crazy. Because the thing we've been dancing around this whole time is the giant orgy scene, where he does use the perfume and intoxicates hundreds of people in this, what should have been his execution, turned into this giant sex scene, which... At first, it didn't feel like unnecessary in a way. Like it was kind of unnecessary that hundreds and hundreds of people were naked and everything, but like it made sense as far as it, because this is like the ultimate essence of it's this. The other name for this movie should have been Scent of a Woman. That's all I'm saying.
if that wasn't already a movie, that's a perfect. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the orgy. I thought it was completely unnecessary. I thought the praising of him beforehand was fire. I thought it was great. I love that he kind of became like a Christ-like figure to them, and that they were
maybe
all praising
if he would
him.
have told them to do that, it would have made more sense, I guess.
Yeah, but like them just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know,
And like, this guy's amazing. Should we fuck now?
yeah, like it was a beat too far that turned it kind of comical, and I thought it was a really powerful ending before that. And then, you know, because let's be honest, sex, especially when it's a giant orgy, it's kind of funny. Like, it's great,
Of
but
course.
and it's kind of funny in a way. So when they just like started taking off their clothes, I was like, no. And then I just started laughing, and it just kind of ruined the tone for me until Alan Rickman came back. And kind of talked to him. But like, I really just thought it was a step too far, not for like gratuitous reasons. It ruined the tone for me.
Yeah, I think what annoyed me about these two scenes that happened when he used the perfume was this happened the first time, and then the second time he used it, I mean, obviously he poured it all over himself, and this is obviously now the end of the movie that we're getting to here. He gets cannibalized.
Yeah.
So like completely different tones altogether. Like I don't know. I don't know how I felt about the two different scenes.
I think it was a good thought, like you know, where they were so infatuated with him that they tried to like. I think it would have been better if they just trying to get a piece of him ripped him apart rather than eat him.
Yeah.
It's again, it's the whole step too far thing. Like them praising him 100%. Cool idea, love it.
Or even
Orgy,
if
step too far.
Even
them,
if they got the if he got the perfume on them, then the sex thing would make more sense because, like, you know, it's an intoxicating
exactly.
thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It
like,
never got on them. It was on him, and then he wafted it in the air, and then everybody just started banging.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's weird. Super.
It is weird. It's very European.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with. It's just, you know, tonally it doesn't work for me. And you know, had he poured it all on him, and then they were so infatuated with him, and because he was at their level, they just tried ripping him apart, like just trying to get a piece of him.
Or even if he changed the scent a little bit and like they did different things, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, we got what we got.
We got. I still really enjoyed the film. It's got a few flaws. Unfortunately, those flaws are at the ending. I wasn't as angry about it as I was with the ending of Moana. I know they're not related, but that is
I was like,
that's a different story.
How are we getting here?
Oh no, the ending of Moana is almost perfect, and then they ruin it with a fucking song.
I haven't watched Moana still.
Yeah, it's fine, but they Disneyfy it in the worst possible way. I think it was hilarious that all the like town leaders were talking about the money aspect of having a curfew, because that is so real. There's women dying. Oh, but what about money? We got to make money. Blah blah.
Yeah,
it is so stupid, but it is. It's very capitalist to argue about money when lives are at stake. And then one thing I thought was funny is before he is captured, they're all meeting in the church to talk about to hear what the church has to say about it. It was like right after the nun died. And the church goes, he is excommunicated. And at first I thought it was just like the same as exile.
Yeah.
But it's not. Excommunicate just means that the church is going to shun you. And it's like, do you really think this murderer is going to church?
Do you think that this is because he's excommunicated?
he's excommunicated. But it's such a dumb punishment. Like, exile is one thing that, you know, that's kicking you away from your home. Yeah. But like saying, oh, you can't come to church anymore. We're mad at you. That's so stupid.
Yes, you're not allowed here anymore.
Not only that, but they did it before they knew who he was. Like, how are you going to excommunicate someone who you don't know?
Yeah, for a man who never even went there to begin with.
But my favorite part of this movie is there's a moment where he's closing in on Laura. Laura and her father, played by Alan Rickman, they escape the town. They're in hiding. She was dressed like a man on this trip, so they couldn't be found. But he, with his super schnoz, hunts her down, and they have this moment where he's about to hit her in the head, and she wakes up and looks at him. And the way they edit it, they cut to Alan Rickman, the key is on the table and everything. You think for a moment, you have hope that Laura made it somehow.
Yeah.
And then they immediately rip that away. And I thought it was so great, the way they did that. It just, the roller coaster of emotions just in that 2 minutes. Where you're just like, oh, is she going to like be able to talk him out of it?
Yeah.
And then they cut away from it. And they're like, surely she can't be dead. The key's still there.
Surely.
Why would he return the key? Why would he return the key unless he decided not to go through with it? Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck, she is dead. It was beautifully done in that way. I absolutely love that part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was very pleased with this movie. Way better than I anticipated it being, especially with how terrible the poster is.
Yeah.
There's another poster that doesn't look as bad, but with the name Perfume, it's also just...
I was going to say, with the name doesn't help either.
Yeah.
Because tis what tis.
Story of a murderer or not, it looks like a romance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
I think me too, honestly.
Cool. So that brings us to the judgment for Perfume, the story of a murderer. As always, it has to be a unanimous decision whether or not becomes a little shelf boy and goes on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. Because this was Glenn's choice, he gets to go first in his pick.
Yes, I am. I'm at an impasse right here. I did really still enjoy it. There's only like a handful of bad things about it, and they weren't even that extremely bad.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think I want to put it on. I really do, but I should get probably your info more to find out for sure.
Other than the few things I've already mentioned, the few flaws.
Yeah.
The tonal shifts at the very end, which kind of didn't ruin it fully.
I forgot something, but I'll talk about it after.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't really ruin it for me, but the tonal shifts, I wish they weren't at the end.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like and especially in today's day and age, if I'm not at a movie theater, it's hard for me to not look at my phone while watching a movie. Mm-hmm. And I did that very minimally here.
Yeah.
It's got great pacing. It's a great story. It's a great tone for the most part. And I love the creepy fairy tale vibes it gives. So I would say, yeah, I think it does go on the shelf.
All right. The one thing that I wanted to mention before we just go on the spiel.
I assume you also are saying that since I said that?
Yes.
Okay.
That did this movie feel like The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings to you? In like, how like the narrator and everything, and like the little flute or whatever. At one point, this movie felt like I was watching a really weird Lord of the Rings film. Because
I never got that vibe, but I could see it.
It felt like, especially once he like gets sent off by Dustin Hoffman, it feels like there's a little flute playing, and then he's
going
off.
on an adventure.
He's going on an adventure, and then he's in a cave and everything, and he's just by himself. It was so funny. I'm like, this movie feels like Lord of the Rings right now, just with Bilbo or with Frodo, and I can't get it out of my head that he's now a murderer.
It's a very, very different. It's a story of Smeagol.
Exactly. This is pre Frodo and Bilbo.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So that's all I had to say.
So, Perfume, the story of a murderer, does make it on the shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to our plugs for this week. Glenn, it's still your turn. Why aren't you talking?
Well, the thing is that I was singing like a madman before we started up this podcast. And how can I end this podcast other than to tell you what I was singing? Recently, Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, and Silk Sonic just dropped a new album. And dear God, is it good. But there's one specific song that I kind of hate that it's trending on TikTok because I'm a goddamn hipster. But it's so fucking good that I can't stop singing it. It is called Smoking Out the Window. And the music video is pretty hilarious because there's one line where Anderson .Paak's like, I hate to be dramatic, but I want to die. And then he just falls He just falls over in the music video and then lays on the ground the whole time Bruno Mars is performing his next verse.
That's
he just
hilarious.
stays there for at least a good minute.
That is fucking hilarious. I love that.
Definitely watch the music video, but the song is an absolute banger and will get stuck in your head. So that's Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, Silk Sonic with Smoking Out the Window.
Cool.
Not to be dramatic, but I wanna die. This bitch got me paying her rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist. And here I am all alone.
My plug is a little show on Hulu that I watched a week or two ago. I started it 2 weeks ago and finished it last week. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Martin Gomez. Just kidding, it's just Selena Gomez. They have a new show on Hulu called Only Murders in the Building, which is about true crime podcast fans that start their own true crime podcast about a murder that happened in the building they live in New York. It is fantastic. Steve Martin and Martin Short are fantastic as usual. They play really well off each other. They don't go too overboard to the point where it kind of ruins the tone of it. Because it's a dark comedy, but it's still got some dramatic beats in it. And Selena Gomez is really great in it as well. So I highly suggest people check that show out on Hulu. So my plug is going to be the season 1, because there's only one season right now, Only Murders in the Building. And frankly, this is the first show in a long time that isn't just a straight comedy like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that I want there to be more seasons of. So
Okay.
take that for what you will.
Take it.
I want more of Only Murders in the Building. I thought it was great, and I want to see more. So that is my plug.
This doesn't make sense.
Where do we start?
At the very beginning. I got in the elevator with these two weirdos. Then Tim got in the elevator.
Approximately 12 minutes from now, I will be murdered.
Tim Kono's death has been ruled a homicide, and apparently one of you jerk-offs did it.
I can't stop thinking about this.
Neither can I.
We should do our own true crime podcast.
We're gonna go down there and look around for clues. You wanna come?
Do I want to break into a dead guy's apartment and go through all his shit? Sounds like an afternoon.
Those are our plugs for this week. That brings us to our assignment for next week. It is Streaming Roulette Week. Oh, God.
This could only go well.
It can only go well. So, for people who don't know, we spin this very real physical wheel 3 times, and it has every movie that is streaming on the internet right now on the services that we are subscribed to. And out of those 3 films, we pick the one we want to watch the most to talk about next week. So, without any further ado, I'm going to spin the wheel for the first time. The Last Witch Hunter. Oh, God. I think it's a Bruce Willis movie.
Is it a series?
No, Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah, Vin Diesel. Oh, my God. I remember when this came out.
I do, too. The picture that they have looks like Bruce Willis if you're far enough away. So that's why I thought it was Bruce Willis. The Last Witch Hunter, that is going to be on... Oh, hold on. IMDb TV for free. Oh, shit. No. Oh God. Okay. So yeah, IMDb TV for free. The Last Witch Hunter. The Last Witch Hunter is all that stands between humanity and combined forces of the most horrifying witches in history. It is directed by Breck Eisner, written by Corey Goodman, Matt Sasama, and Burke Sharpless. Starring Vin Diesel, Rose Leslie, Elijah Wood, Olafur Dari Olafsson, and many others. Michael Caine is in there. I don't know if I've seen this movie or if I've just seen a lot of it because I was working at a movie theater when it came out.
Yeah, I feel like the movie theater thing was probably the more
probably.
believable thing.
Because there's what's that one with Jeff Bridges? Because I definitely saw that. Seventh Son or whatever. No, Seventh Son.
I don't know that one.
Oh well. Anyway, yeah. So this
also
is
LAPD came out in like 2010 or some shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever, it's RIPD. That's
all right,
it.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
This is an hour, 46 minutes, 6 out of 10 on IMDb, 34 Metacritic score. That is, again, on IMDb TV. So, let's spin it a second time. Undefeated. It's a sport documentary on Netflix. Chronicles 3 underprivileged students from inner city Memphis and their volunteer coach who tries to help them beat the odds on and off the field. Directed by Daniel Lindsay and TJ Martin. Starring Bill Courtney, O.C. Brown, or featuring, because it's a documentary, Montreal Money Brown. Love that name. Chavis Daniels and Jeff Germany. 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 71 Metacritic score. Hour 53 minutes. So that is Undefeated on Netflix. Spin number 3. The Man with the Golden Arm, which I believe is a Bond film.
This is not a Bond film, but it's got Frank Sinatra.
I thought it was Sean Connery on the poster. I need to get my eyes checked, apparently. So that is going to be on IMDb TV. Let's see where else it is. Amazon. So Amazon or IMDb TV. It is A Junkie Must Face His True Self to Kick His Drug Addiction, directed by Otto Preminger, written by Walter Newman, Louis Meltzer, Nelson Algren, starring Frank Sinatra, Kim Novak, Eleanor Parker, and Arnold Stang. It is an hour 59 minutes, 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 63 Metacritic score. And that is The Man with the Golden Arm. So we have Last Witch Hunter, Undefeated, and Man with the Golden Arm. I'm leaning heavily Man with the Golden Arm.
I'll tell you why I'm leaning to that one. Because I have never seen a Frank Sinatra movie.
I feel like I have one of his musicals, probably.
But
I mean, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Too.
So there it is.
Yeah.
For me, at least. My choice is locked in.
Is he in Guys and Dolls? If he's in Guys, yeah, he's in Guys and Dolls. So I've definitely seen Guys and Dolls. We are going to watch The Man with the Golden Arm. That is on. You said it's on Amazon.
Amazon.
It is also on IMDb TV with ads for free if you do not have Amazon, so you can check it out there. So The Man with the Golden Arm. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com, on Instagram, Keystone_Film_Review, Twitter, Keystone_Film, Facebook, Keystone Film Review, YouTube, Keystone Film Review, TikTok, Keystone Film Review, and on Letterboxd, I'm Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we're a bunch of junkies. We gotta do our research and do heroin.
Yeah, I'm scratching my neck already.
Just to see.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like.
Just once. I promise.
I can quit anytime.
I swear.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.